So just a bit about the disrupt and grow in terms of the title here. We sort of have a new message for our integrators in the growing community, which is disrupt and grow. And that isn't disrupt in a negative way. It's sort of breaking out of the box, taking a different view, a broader view than maybe an HMI SCADA view to the opportunities you have with your customers. It reflects a new initiative that Travis even mentioned here at Inductive Automation, where we are sort of using disrupt in a positive light to see the broadness of the capabilities of Ignition and the broadness of the ways that you are right now using it with so many of your customers. And we think the potential has, this message has a lot of legs, a lot of potential, and can really be of use as you maybe look at how you approach the selling and the servicing of your customers. It actually kind of grew over the years out of a dilemma that we've noticed with integrators when they learn about Ignition and they get trained. They get really excited. They get pumped up. Isn't that right, Travis? They get pretty excited?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, we see it time and time again that once people really understand the full potential of what Ignition can do, and they can say yes confidently to various questions that are asked to them, they can see that, you know, just the vastness and what they could offer to their customers. They get really excited about that. We see it all the time. People come to training. When that light bulb goes off, they realize there's a lot more there.
Then that creates a really big positive. It also contributes to this dilemma because they often can see Ignition maybe from their own history of selling primarily as an HMI SCADA software. And the problem is not every project is strict an HMI SCADA project. And if they're thinking about using SCADA, they may already have a system. They don't see a need for Ignition. So in most industries also, you don't see a lot of rip and replace projects where they're just going to put in a brand new SCADA system. For a lot of reasons, it can be hard for integrators to sort of get Ignition projects going. The good news is that Ignition has a whole lot of potential for projects throughout the entire enterprise. And what we want to do is try and change the perspective a little bit on how one approaches what Ignition can do, so you have more tools in the tool belt, so to speak, to help you present properly and solve appropriately the challenges faced by your customers. I want to, because both Dee and Chris have sold a lot of Ignition, I want to start with maybe Chris, just a little bit of your perspective on this. What sorts of projects have given you a chance to introduce Ignition? We're going to dig into this more, but just as some introductory thoughts, I'll ask you and then Dee to maybe comment on your perspective on how you approach the dilemma being outside the box of just a traditional HMI SCADA and seeing things differently for your customers. Chris?
Yeah. So just to comment on that, the rip and replace of an entire SCADA system is, other than water and wastewater, it's going to be rare. That's just not a common way they have the software that they're using. And so for us, it's finding that opportunity of what else is lacking in their system. What features do they need they just don't have? And so two of the easiest ones that we've noticed as entry points is maybe an alarming system. So instead of using a Win911 or a TopView or something that has been specified, put in Ignition. It's going to do exactly the same thing and even more. And you can do it for the same kind of cost. If they have local OITs and they're thinking about putting in panel views or whatever else, you can do the same and better for less with Ignition. And either of these methodologies, it gets Ignition into the plant. And there's a handful of other ways that you could go about it, but you're just looking for that pain point, and Ignition can fill it.
Thanks, Chris. Dee, your thoughts on that from your firm's viewpoint?
I agree with the alarming that Chris just said. The ability to provide an alarming system, alerting system with remote or mobile client access is a big deal in our industry. We see a lot of people that need access to information, but they're not sitting behind a screen all day, every day, so they want it in their hands, in their pocket, on their phone. And I'd say that's a big one. And then unlimited access, unlimited view access with that can be a big deal as well. Those are two big ones.